So it is now time for my gift to you, where this is a segment where one of us gives someone else a game, gives them a chance to play something they never played before, and give a review for it. So Steak gave me the mobile, or is it Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition? I think is what it's called, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that game never worked for me.
Oh.
I text you the thing where it's just like I got no sound, and I could not figure it out. I don't know why or what. I looked up online. I have like a newer iPad, so
That's crazy.
So it got to the point where it's just so distracting I couldn't even play it.
Oh.
However, I've regrouped, and there was another mobile game I saw when I was on there. Some people that I follow in the game industries that are like I usually share opinions with. Have been talking about this game called Florence. Have you guys heard about this one?
I've heard
seen
about
this
it.
one?
I've heard about it.
Okay. So Florence is
Nightingale?
No.
Place in Italy.
No. And the machine? Nothing? Anyway, so...
Henderson.
no, none of those things.
Stand by me.
So Florence is again, it was on iOS. I think only on iOS, maybe on Android as well. I should have done some research. I didn't. Thank you. So it is essentially the story about about Florence and how she basically one of her mid-20s, which involves getting in a relationship with somebody. But it is unbelievable how they can take like a semi-complex story, ideas, real life, earnest moments that people have in their early to mid 20s, especially in relationships, and get all these points across without saying a single word. Because there's a little bit of text in there, but like all the main story beats, there's no text whatsoever. But they portray it in the pictures they show, and they portray it in the actions you do in the game. So the way the gameplay is, like, you get little everything's hand drawn. So you're you're either scrolling and like it's kind of telling like almost kind of like a comic booky story, where it's like it gives you a little some semi-animated pictures about what's going on in the story, or it gives you a puzzle to do or a picture to get into focus, or but it's all helping telling the story of what's happening between these two people.
Fuck off, kid.
Like, in the very first couple instances in the game, where like you go like a normal day of Florence's life before she meets this guy, and it's like just a everyday life. They're showing like she's on a train and she's looking down on her phone, and you can see just like the bottom piece of her phone, and it's like Facebook or Twitter, and it just shows like or retweet. But you can only see like a third of the picture, so you're really not even paying attention to Twitter. You're just hitting buttons, like you're just going through your motions. And then once that's done, it goes back in time, and you're a kid, and it kind of talks about like your love of art. And kind of gets
loves art,
and kind of gets an understanding of who kind of Florence is and how she became to be the woman that she is. But at the very end of that, like there's a clock on the bottom and a Polaroid picture of you and two of your friends, and you have to move the clock. But when you're moving the clock forward, the people in the picture are getting a little bit older and also spreading apart. So like that's like, again, it's not giving you any words, but it's telling you a story. Like time goes on, you're growing up, you fall apart from your friends to the point where the picture has them completely out of it, and it's just Florence in there. When you meet the guy and you have it on your very first date, the way they do this conversation is there's a word bubble, and you're filling in the word bubble with puzzle pieces. The very first, like when the date first starts out, the word bubble is like, I think 6 or 8 puzzle pieces and a little more complex. But as the date goes on, it comes down to just like 3 pieces or 2 pieces, because the conversation's gotten easier, because you've gotten to know her, and you've gotten to know the guy, and you've gotten to realize I do like this guy, and you end up having an easier time with the date, and that's how they portray that in the game, is to make the puzzle pieces easier. Later on, when it gets a little more heavy, and the relationship starts having its problems, like they have a piece where you're putting puzzle pieces together and they're constantly just like spreading apart, so you can't get them back together no matter what you do. You're trying to put it back together, and eventually it just moves on to the next thing. It's like you can't do it. But what's really cool about I think the overall story is I don't want to spoil it, but like it's trying, how do I say this without spoiling it? So it's like,
I don't know. This is a review, so no spoilers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like it's I mean the whole game takes anywhere from like half hour to 45 minutes. It's super short.
Yeah.
So I mean I don't want to talk too much about it just because.
By the way, it's iOS.
Is it only okay? So I mean I did play on my iPad and like it was actually I mean it like the artwork is very simple but it's very beautiful and it's done in a way where like it has a lot of little details in it that again helps you kind of understand these two people without ever talking to them. But like when it gets to like the climax of the story, like you kind of really understand like okay, everything's gonna be fine. Here's why it's going to be fine, and like man, like I have been there. You know what I mean? Like you like I can't imagine someone who has not been in Jesus Christ. I cannot believe anyone who's been in any kind of relationship, whether it be romantic or friends, or whatever it is, how they couldn't take some part out of this game and apply it to themselves when they've been in that moment or currently in that moment, and then see ways to go to the next level. Like that's crazy. Go to the next level.
What kind of drugs are you giving that cat?
That cat lately at night has just been bonkers. Like he goes nuts.
I'm gonna bring like a squirrel trap or something next time and bait it so we trap that thing up during the podcast.
But yeah, man, it's like it's like $3 I think it is. Right?
Yeah,
it's
I
like
heard it's cheap. Yeah,
but like, it's totally worth
I
your
heard
time.
it's very interesting.
Yeah, it's absolutely worth your time. Sorry.
Yeah.
Waterfall. So I mean, as I said, it's absolutely worth your time. It tells a heartfelt, honest, real story, and by the time you like, and said they just do so many different ways where you are, you become attached to each individual character and them together, and then like when that starts getting a little shaky, it's just like you are like I found myself really trying to be like. I wanted to fix that, but that may not have been the best thing to do. I guess you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And man, it's just it's a really great story. And it's like I played this game like 4 or 5 days ago, and it's still sticking with me. And I didn't talk about the best piece of it. Their soundtrack in that game is amazing. The guy, like the boyfriend, is like a cello player, so they have like an orchestral theme going out throughout the whole thing. It's very cello heavy, but they also have piano, and it's very it's all orchestral. But it's a great soundtrack. Like it's an amazing sound. It's one of those things that I'm hoping pops up in my Pandora next time I'm studying or doing work or whatever, because it's really 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 good. And it's one of those games from Annapurna. It's one of those kind of like arts games, but it is totally worth your time, totally worth your couple of bucks, 45 minutes to your life. Just kind of take that journey with them, and you'll find yourself like in that same journey with them as you go.
Cool. Hopefully they'll eventually release it on Android.
Yes. Go check it out.
Florence Nightingale.
God, I hate you.